Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. Hope to have everything up to finish the series tonight. That's the goal, anyway. Don't know how good that's going to go, but anyhow, July 2nd, 1988 is our episode currently. And, I mean, it's a rather nondescript episode, to be completely honest. We start with Shawn Simpson and Jack Victory. Simpson jumpstarts the match. Obviously, the Simpsons and Victory and Tatum have been at war for several months by now, and that continues. Simpson takes a few, shots. Steve Simpson is at ringside, so he's back in the range of things. I don't really quite understand why you do a blinding angle and have it last a couple of months, but anyhow. Irish whip and successful back body drop by Victory. Obviously, the Simpson and Victory Tatum thing has gone on quite a bit. It's a nice enough feud, but not something that I can imagine people outside of the Texas area who are homegrown to there would really be popping for. Short clothesline by Victory, and then attempt to bring him in with a suplex style, gets a near fall, and again, more cheating from Victory, misses a buckle shot, and obviously the referee warns Victory. There's a lot of chaos here, a lot of back and forth. I mean, they're trying to draw the feud out. And I understand that, I get it, but it's just, at this point, I think it's booking burnout for who's ever doing it. Steve Simpson sends Victory back in the ring a couple of times when he gets thrown out of the ring, so he's becoming physically involved in the match. The referee doesn't step in and stop it, which means the referee looks rather irrelevant. John Tatum tries to interfere. The camera people shoot the crowd while a pinning attempt takes place, and then we see kind of a 3 count for Simpson on Victory. Then Skandar Akbar pumps the Iceman as the true champion of World Class. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. I wouldn't necessarily say good or bad. It's just basic. Then we move to Jimmy Jack Funk and Jeff Rand's. Jimmy Jack Funk, I think to this point he'd done WWF for a little bit, done Portland. Not a guy that ever really got over anywhere strong, except maybe Portland. Really basic offense on his part, nothing to write home about. Rand's is there with a high cross body, gets a near fall that way, short knee lift, and other short offensive maneuvers by Funk. And, I mean, I'm actually curious how Jesse Barr, a.k.a. Jimmy Jack Funk, got permission to use the Funk name. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody talk about that story. I'd be interested because the Funk name, especially in Texas, means so much that misrepresenting it as a member or not being a top guy in using it, being especially the second generation, just doesn't make sense to my brain. But anyway, another crossbody attempted and a power slam by Funk. Funk goes to the top rope, gets a victory, and I mean, it's surprising that he at least gets some victories here. Shawn Simpson discusses his brother's return. He is obviously thrilled with that as a concept. Then we move to another, I guess you'd say squash-ish match. I'm sorry, my microphone is being temperamental here. As we move to Chico Carabello and, let me see here, as I've blocked my notes out for a second. Chico Carabello and Eric Emery. Emery is a guy who has been around for quite a while. They're doing the light heavyweight championship thing with him. I'm not even sure if they didn't have a light heavyweight championship. I'm not necessarily 100% sold that he would be employed, but it's here. Carabello is a enhancement talent. Lots of roll around, lots of striking, meant to be a showcase match for Emery, which is fine. I mean, again, you're not going to get anything main event out of this. Lots of striking back and forth. Emery actually is the one who finally tears down the world-class banner in an angle, I believe, in 1990. So he does have significance for the brand going forward. Obviously, we're not going to be able to cover that here because the footage isn't available. But piledriver by Emery gets a victory, and he's certainly a guy who has a talent, but I don't know that he ever found a place he belongs. And so then we see Kerry Von Erich and Michael Hayes doing a promo together. Who would have thought during the Freebirds versus Von Erich's feud that we would have ever seen that in a million years? Anyhow, Kerry talks about, being glad to be the champion again, taking a year and a half to get there, wants to get rid of Kamala, wants to get rid of Skandar Akbar, wants to get rid of Iceman Parsons. Hayes admits not necessarily knowing what he's doing there, but admits that being partners with Kerry is working for now. And then we see the Samoan SWAT team against Mike Reed and Steve Casey. Certainly not a match that you need to write home about. This is obviously meant for the Samoans to get an advantage, obviously meant for the Samoans to have showcase ability, and they do have that here. Casey is sent into the ropes, hard tackle by the Samoans. One thing I will say about the Samoans, no matter what iteration, they always strike hard, they always strike fast, but they always strike safe, and I think a lot of people could learn from that in the Samoan family, the way that they handle things. From Haku to The Rock to Roman Reigns, and I know a lot of people say The Rock did goofy things. Yes, he did, but if he needed it to look tight, he could make it look tight. And, Roman Reigns now and Yokozuna, that whole family has striking ability. And I remember going to WWF house shows as a kid and with a couple of people that weren't fans who actually bought the head shrinkers as legit tough guys, and they didn't buy the rest of the card. And I'll never forget that. Anyway, one half of the head shrinkers are the Samoans here. Backdrop suplex off the top rope into a splash, win for the Samoans. Not a big surprise there. Highlights of a Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts cage match. Hayes wanders around, already injured when we come into the match. He brawls. They use the cage. I mean, it's amazing to me that they went several years without a cage match, a couple of years without a cage match, and now it seems like they have them several times a year. It's another sign of a dying territory when you have a bunch of gimmick matches. Hayes and Gordy are both. Hayes and Roberts are both bleeding. There's a jump off the top off the side of the cage. Michael Hayes with a drop kick sends Buddy Roberts into the cage, which I think was a cool spot. Roberts obviously not the guy that anybody wants to see win 1, 2, 3, and Michael does get a win over his former Freebirds partner. Tatum and Victory address the Simpsons' return. They are surprised, but they don't think it'll last. They also don't necessarily believe that it's as big a deal as everybody thinks it is. They think Steve's return will be short term if it happens completely. And then we see Tatum, Victory, and Buddy Roberts attack Terry Gordy. Terry Gordy is taken out to basically 3-on-1. Obviously, just another opportunity to kind of get, some heat on Gordy. Gordy, though, manages to brawl and take all three guys to the limit. I think you need to protect, especially he's in Japan at this point. People that come in to try to help, including the Simpsons, get beat up. They work over the legs. They make as much of a ruckus over that as possible. Then you see Michael Hayes come in, try to help. Basically, the whole thing is a complete schmoz. Then we move to the main event for this week. Kamala and Kerry Von Erich. They have about 6 or 7 minutes time here. Of course, Kamala managed by managed by Akbar. Probably the second or third time through for that particular pairing. Kamala in 1988 working a 5 to 6 minute match, not a bad thing. Lots of power moves here early. Lots of Kamala looks a little bit more subdued than you would imagine. I guess I would say he does get carry into the corner. Hits punches and kicks, really basic stuff. Kamala stays on carry for several minutes during the early stages of this contest, and not that there's a lot to it anyway. He even hits a body slam, goes off the ropes, hits a big body splash, and 1, 2, and 3. Kamala beats Kerry Von Erich, although a lot of it is due to the interference from Skandor Akbar. Must have been a non-title contest because Kamala does not walk away with the belts. But anyway, that will close the first week here in July, and we'll be back with more right after this.